Is there anything better than a victory? I was going to say Monday, but it's a Tuesday edition of Orange and Blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason, Denver Broncos in a big win. And Mason, I said it last night on the post-game show. This is almost the kind of perfect way you want a game to go. You win in a resounding fashion against a team that you should have beat in a resounding fashion, but you don't play perfectly, and you've got plenty of things to learn. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, you beat them soundly. It's what you should do against a team like that. That's the thing. And for those who dismiss, it's the Bengals. Well, remember what happened in week 1 against a team that you should have beaten soundly?
Right.
You had to squeak by at the end. You barely won that game. Had to go down to the last minute. Had to stop in the last 2 minutes to seal it. So there's progress right there. You were able to drop the hammer against a team that you should have dropped the hammer against. You did what you should do to a bad team. You crushed them. And I think the thing is, and I pointed this out in the post-game video that I posted on the Denver Sports social channels and so forth, it's not just about the score and whatnot. The important thing here is you heard it over and over again in the locker room on the offensive side talking about an identity. And how many times have you heard over the years Broncos teams they talk about finding an identity and they never find it.
Right.
And here we are, we're 4 games into the season, and they've talked, and they're saying that they're finding their identity. And if that's the identity, and the identity is a balanced offense that until the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half was in near perfect balance. It was 16 runs, including a couple of Bo Nix scrambles and 17 passes. It ended the game in a near perfect balance. It was 38-42 in terms of runs versus passes. I mean, there were a couple of kneel downs involved with it, and I caution against like true run pass balance over the course of a game because you have 2-minute drives and so forth. But and you have the game getting out of hand. But that's why I look really at the first few possessions of the game before the 2-minute when it's a competitive game. And it's your opener, and it's your game plan, and you're trying to set a tone. And you even have some things go wrong. Like you had that 3rd down run on the first series get stopped, Cease. And too often, what we've seen from this team, and even from Sean Payton at calling the plays, is you have an early run failing. And you're like, okay, well, go away from that. Well, no, they didn't. Now, it certainly helped that they stayed on schedule. They didn't fall behind the sticks, that you didn't see penalties to the same degree as you saw other weeks. Instead of facing 3rd and 10, it was like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Instead of 2nd and 12, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 9, it was 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. So staying on schedule certainly helped that cause as well. But I think the lesson here is you've got to trust the run game, and you have to continue to trust, even though you may not average 5.3 yards per carry from your running backs every week. That was the combined per carry average for RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. Maybe it's going to be 4.3, but you still have to trust them.
Yeah, trust them. And I believe you were the first one to say it in the Denver sports market, Mace. Rhythm. We've been having the rhythm conversation for a while now. And when you're able to run the ball like that, when you're able to trust it like that, you establish a rhythm. That's how you get identity. Rhythm.
Yeah, don't sub them out after every play and leave them in for a possession. The best 1-2 punch at running back that I've ever seen with my own eyes, I happened to cover, was the Panthers in 08 and 09 with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams.
Oh, they're their prototype.
Yeah, and the way John Fox and his staff handled that was they did it by possession. And then if one had the hotter hand than the other, you'd see, okay, well, if it's D'Angelo Williams' day, he's going to get a bit more toward the end. But when the game would get going, it would be, okay, this possession is Stewie's, this possession is D'Angelo's, because rhythm and flow did matter for the running backs getting into a groove. And J.K. Dobbins commented on that last night in the post game about how he wants to see the ball more than once. He wants to get into a rhythm. But the key is you've got to be patient. You've got to stick with it. So not only do you have to avoid shuffling them in and out, but to get them in a rhythm, that means you've got to give it to them. And just because if at first you don't succeed, you have to try again and not go away from it. So
right.
Hopefully the play caller gets the message.
And man alive, J.K. Dobbins, if there is a Sean Payton fan, it's Dobbins, because the sideline reporter, and forgive me, I can't remember her name, but she had said during one of the breaks of like, hey, I talked to J.K. and he said last game out, he really wanted to get that 100 yards a week ago, but he trusts Sean Payton's play calling. Well, it seems like this time, especially on that play that got it to him, Mace, Davis Webb, Celebrate, like these guys knew what it meant to get him to 100 yards.
Yeah, I'm not really buying that Sean Payton didn't know.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I think he knew.
They pulled him right after that.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I'm like, oh, come on. Like, someone saying it over the headset, right? I mean, come on. It's okay. I mean, there's no problem admitting it. There's no problem saying that that's on the minds. And hey, it's okay to say that individually it's a big deal. It's for not only for J.K. Dobbins, but it's okay to say it's a big deal for the operation when you're in year 3 of this stewardship and you haven't had a 100-yard rusher. It was getting a little bit embarrassing, I think. Especially, it's not like this team has been 28th, 29th, 30th in the league in rushing. For all the hand-wringing over the state of the running game the last couple of years, it's been middle of the pack. That's the other thing about the lack of a 100-yard rusher. You're not talking about a running game that's been bad. It's simply been average. And you still haven't had a 100-yard rusher. That's what's been baffling.
Yeah, and now that 38-game streak is over. J.K. Dobbins is that guy. And then even RJ Harvey following that, Mace, to close out that game, to be able to go to Harvey. And I know everyone will talk about the drop pass, and watching pass protection for RJ, two swipes through here. I usually like to watch the Broncos game 3 times, but 2 swipes through. I believe a lot of people will enjoy what RJ Harvey did in pass protection. I know the drop is going to get a lot of talk, but to me, it starts with that kid learning to protect Bo Nix. So getting the opportunities as a runner and as a receiver, but earning those opportunities because he knows how to block.
Yeah, and if he can do that, he's going to get more chances. They're going to trust him more often. And oh, by the way, then if he can do that, then you can fully give him a possession.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that happens is if you can trust him in pass pro, then does that mean you can shuffle up who your third running back is? Because they've been using Tyler Bidet on some third downs. Tyler Bidet now has 2 drops in 4 games, so his drop rate, unfortunately, is high. Like if you look on the drop stats kept by Pro Football Focus, he's got the highest drop rate on the. I think he's got the highest drop rate on the team right now over the course of the season. And I think they do miss the dynamic change of pace that Jaleel McLaughlin brought. And if RJ Harvey can handle pass pro, J.K. Dobbins can handle pass pro, but if RJ Harvey can handle pass pro and he can be left out there for a full possession and be out there first down, second down, and third down, that frees you up to have Jaleel McLaughlin active as the third running back, and then you sprinkle him in as that dynamic change of pace, and then your running back room becomes even more dynamic because, unfortunately, with Bidet the last 4 games, he hasn't brought as much as you would have liked to that third running back, and I think the job description of number 3 running back is more change of pace type that Jaleel could bring than what Bidet has brought so far.
Yep. I want to pick Mace's brain about Bo Nix, but before that, How about a word from Ramos Law?
Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at ramoslaw.com.
Did Bo Nix seem more settled to you? I saw the chat room was talking about that. Like, Bo seemed to be a little bit more calm with that ground game, career high in passing yards. So your observations from being at the stadium, Mace, and then in the locker room, what did you think of Bo?
100% more settled. Now, a little less of a pass rush there from the Chargers, from the Bengals, pardon me, than the Chargers the previous week.
Right.
So that had a lot to do with it. But I think just definitely did not seem as frenetic and more on rhythm. It's almost like because you allowed the running game to get on rhythm, Bo Nix got on rhythm more. Hint, hint. Okay?
Yeah.
See? Run the ball. This is all coming back to having the patience to stick with the run. This is probably where this is going to start. And again, to go back to the whole thing about the identity of this team is going to be having the patience to stick with the run and then create a balanced offense from it. That's what this team is going to need to do. And then the balance goes to a step further when you see how the ball is being spread around. I mean, you saw, a sprinkling of Adam Troutman. You got more tight ends involved. Tight ends were over 50 yards as a collective group. Okay, that's a positive sign. You finally got Marvin Mims the ball on a jet sweep. Okay, hey, that's good. You saw Marvin Mims Jr. get some passes. I think really the only thing that you were lamenting out of that game was some of the penalties from Luke Wattenberg, who was whistled 5 times, 3 accepted, and then the 2 passes that Troy Franklin let slip through the wickets in the game. I mean, really, that could have allowed you to really put a huge number on the Bengals if those had gone through, plus, of course, the Bo Nix interception there at the end of the drive in the second quarter, which, for all the things that Bo Nix did right, that was a pretty horrible decision there by Bo Nix. I mean, when I don't know about you, Cecil, but I thought a pretty decent shot that he could have gotten that in with his legs.
It seemed like it. It seemed like, man, you just tuck that thing and duck your head and you're already right there because it was so close in the pass. So,
and
again,
he's athletic.
Clean up. Yeah, I mean, he can get there.
He can do it. Yeah.
Yep. We'll see if he makes that decision going forward.
And where the throw went, it was like you had, there was coverage, but there were guys in the area. It's like you threw to who, where, what? Like, I looked at that as like, and I thought to myself, okay, like the day before Baker Mayfield rolls right, he throws an interception, but you got somebody getting their hand on it. This was just like, what in the world happened there? And it was the one moment of the game where you thought, okay, this is where the Bengals could seize the momentum and get it back. But then it petered out quickly because Jake Browning is completely overwhelmed. Their protection was completely overwhelmed. It's a hot mess there. This is a team that, as currently constructed, I don't know how many more games they win, because now it's roughly half the sacks are on the quarterback, but when you have a quarterback who's struggling to diagnose where the rushes are coming from, and you have a line that's struggling themselves in pass protection, it's a complete disaster up there. So I don't know what the Bengals do. I mean, I think I would say I join the chorus of people that say they have to consider a trade for a veteran quarterback, and they have to do it now.
Yeah. The season will get away from you. And I saw you on Twitter last night. I think the best way to kind of summarize things, and we got a ton to get to. We got a week's worth of shows. We got all of our stuff we normally do on our 7-day OBT. But you said on Twitter last night, like, I know the Broncos are going to be okay. And the Bengals have a lot of work to do.
They're not going to be okay.
Yeah, they're not okay. They're not okay.
If they don't do anything, they're not going to be okay. The Broncos are going to be okay. I mean, I think how many times did I say it last week when they were 1-2? You can see 5-3 from here, and they're going to be okay even if they lose on Sunday. I think that's like the thing here. Now, Sunday is winnable. We're going to get into that over the course of the week. It's winnable. It'll be difficult because I think the way to think of Philadelphia right now is the way you thought of Kansas City last year when the Broncos went out there, as in this team, it may not look dominant and it may look like they've got some holes, but what they're doing is finding some different way to win every week. That this is they've transformed into a team that finds a weak spot somewhere, offense, defense, special teams, and exploits it. Just look, for example, at how they started that run to get out in front and on Sunday and create a lead that was too great for the Buccaneers to close, right? They see a weakness in punt protection, and they see that Riley Dixon is taking too much time to get his punts off. And they attacked it, and just like, I want a stronger snap than that, just like that, they turned the game on its heels right from the jump, and it took the Bucs a while to respond. And by the time they could adequately respond, they're in a 3-score hole, and then they spend the rest of the game trying to catch up. And that's the thing I think you have to watch out for in this game is that they're going to start you, and you're going to Vic Fangio will probably find something in what the Broncos do and find a way to exploit it. And that's the tactical chess match between Sean Payton, the play caller, and Vic Fangio, the schemer, is probably going to be what may end up deciding this game, and that to some degree, in addition, of course, between Sirianni and Vance Joseph on the other side as well. And there's a lot to this game, but that's the way you have to think of the Eagles, is as this team that will dive into it. And just like the Chiefs ended up winning the game last year because Dave Toub found the weak spot and noticed, hey, there's a lot of pressure coming in, and guys are getting through on Forsyth week after week. If we have this situation, we go all out on that spot, and they did, and Leo Chanel blocked the kick. So just know that that's the kind of preparation you're getting from the Philadelphia Eagles now. And that's part of why they won it all last year and why they've only lost one game in the last calendar year. They are out preparing their opponents. So you've got to be on your P's and Q's in this one, because if there's a weakness, they will find it.
Yep. Outstanding. I have a feeling that guy right there, Mr. Vic Fangio, every day.
Yep.
That weakness is going to be Luke Wattenberg. But before we're out of here on today's show,
believe me, and honestly, I've had that thought. I've had the thought.
Poor Luke.
That Luke Wattenberg and Alex Singleton and the middle of the defense, because when the Bengals had success, because the Bengals had success in their opener. The opening 15 plays is when they did something. They got past the opener, they had nothing.
Right.
But the opening 15, they had a pretty nice drive. But the one thing the Broncos D has done reasonably well, even when it has struggled this year, is they've gotten red zone stops, and lo and behold, they got another red zone stop there to get them to a field goal. But we saw, again, issues at the core. You had 2, or depending on how you calculate, 3 missed tackles. Now, that third missed tackle by Singleton, what he's doing is he's getting the guy with the ball, he's getting the ball carrier over to the spot where other guys can make the play. So that's not really a bad missed tackle. The first 2, Those are misses. Those are problematic. Those are negative plays. So you've got that, and then Luke Wattenberg, 5 penalties, 3 accepted in the game. So you've still got issues at the core, although it was interesting to see how often they took Justin Sternad out last night and how much more often they used Jahdae Barron. So we're starting to see, I think, that's part of the adjustment here going on to compensate for what's lacking at inside linebacker. And you and I talked about this as a possibility. Hey, do you maybe compensate by bringing Barron in, taking advantage of his versatility inside the box, take advantage of his background as a star at Texas, and bring him in to bring a more dynamic element, even though you get smaller? Well, we saw some of that last night. I mean, Jaquan McMillan even can get more use like that. You saw he had that guided missile moment last night. So, okay. So you've seen, kudos to Vance Joseph for adjusting and leaning in more to take advantage of the players that he does have. Now with Singleton in the moment, you kind of have to live with some things, because I don't know if you noticed one play pre-snap where Singleton literally goes up to Wazirike, kind of grabs him around the waist and moves him over.
Right.
That's part of why Singleton's in the lineup, because he is the brains of the operation in the front seven. Like, he does get everybody set and aligned pre-snap. He's the one who's identifying things. So if you took him out, you would be in trouble. Like, VJ has called him kind of an extension of him out there. So he's going to be in the lineup as the green dot, but know that Nick Sirianni's probably going to go at the middle of the Broncos D. Expect a heavy dose of Dallas Goedert, and know that for the Broncos offense, expect Vic Fangio to attack the center. Expect him to attack and pressure up the gut on Luke Wattenberg to try to force him into quick decisions, try to get his head spinning a little bit, and maybe even get him, kind of like on Monday night, get him to be grabbing, get him off balance, get him committing penalties.
You can have a bunch of penalties against the Bengals. You do that against the Eagles, you lose.
Yeah, you can. That was one thing. If you want to be concerned about anything from last night, I'd say there were 2 things that Philadelphia is going to try to exploit.
1,000%. Orange and blue today here for you, Cecil Lammey, Andrew Mason, Denver Broncos. And because it's a Monday night game, we got to kind of flush this thing quickly, start getting you ready for Philadelphia. And of course, we will do that right here. And Mace, we love the listener and the viewer input that we get in the live chat. Also, drop a comment down below. Did Sean Payton unlock the key to Bo Nix and the Broncos offense? Let us know your thoughts about JK, about RJ, about all of your Broncos favorites. And as always, Mace, how can folks help us out here on YouTube?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell,
so that you
never miss a vid.
That's right. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials. At Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT is a BFD. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty?
For over 20 years, my family, like so many of you, has proudly been part of Broncos Country.
Every season, we feel the energy, passion, and commitment that defines this team.
And now we are honored to be the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos.
Ramos